Howdy, everybody. Welcome back. We are in for an awesome episode. Glad to be back with you all. Took kind of a short break for the holidays. However, we are here and ready to do the dang thing. Tonight, I have the very funny Lena Beamish. You can find her on Instagram at Lena Beamish as one word. She's a stand-up comedian based out of Louisville, Kentucky. You can hear her on SiriusXM or see her at various comedy clubs throughout the Midwest. Before we get into the episode for tonight, we do have a lot of fun things planned for you. Next week, we have Mr. Andrew. Sorry, I'm spacing on his last name. Drew Tingley. Who is a guest on, or who was on, Hell's Kitchen. More importantly, let's go ahead. We'll get into the episode. First, as always, I'm going to bring in my main man, Don. Don, how's it going?
Oh, it's going great. Better than ever, really.
Good to see your sunshiny face on a wonderful Thursday evening. And then coming to this screen near you right now, Miss Lena Beamish. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, no problem. Give me 1 second here. I need to find out what just happened with my. Oh, okay. I have to turn the comments on my Facebook on, otherwise we can't see them on my screen. Sorry about that. Okay, there we go. Oh, no. Oh, no. Don't you talk to me like that. And okay, so we actually wrote out a couple of very funny segments for you all tonight. The first thing that we came up with is you see a lot of like true crime podcasts, Cheryl stabbed her husband because he stabbed her first, or whatever it happens to be. What we are going to be doing here is we're going to be doing fake crimes. This is just I don't know, just crimes that we thought it would be funny to accuse someone of doing. Lena, do you want to read your first one first?
Yes. Cat Williams accuses himself of drowning 2 fish.
The man's never told anything but the truth, so I don't know how I feel about it.
I believe in him.
Vlad the Impaler arrested posthumously for illegal high stakes gambling. I'm so proud of you.
Don needs a drum set so he can go boots.
Yeah. Drum roll, please.
All right, you can just ask him to make that noise, I guess.
Yeah, just do that. There we go. All right. Very good.
Jeffrey Dahmer arrested for an FDA violation when it was found that he was consuming human meat, which was not properly cooked to an internal temperature of 160 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's what'll get you. It's the degrees.
Mm-hmm.
You got to cook those parasites out.
Out of people. Yeah, True. Charles Manson arrested due to extremely liberal laws in California. He is now being charged with mansplaining murder.
H.H. Holmes arrested for egregious building violations, not for the human torture devices, but just because he can't drywall for shit.
Genghis Khan arrested for a graffiti selfie. making him the first con artist in history.
Stephen Hawking given a speeding ticket for going to an infinity in an under 18.
Cat Williams accuses Cedric the Entertainer of being Jack the Ripper. When asked to explain himself, he said, "Why they both got the in it." That's all he said. All right, so we have another segment where we're gonna do that at the end. That's actually gonna be really fun. We had a lot of fun writing these. All right, so Lena, how long have you been doing comedy?
It's been, I think, 2.5 years now. Well, I've been doing stand-up for 2.5. And before that, I did sketch comedy kind of off and on for several years, but not like continuously.
Okay, so what made you, I mean, did sketch made you want to get into stand-up, I guess?
Sort of. So like I always loved like stand-up and sketch growing up, and I sort of always had like a dream of being a stand-up comedian, but I was always too just like way too introverted and shy. Didn't like, like terrified of public speaking and all that. So sketch made it kind of easier to like, I could sort of organize things from behind the scenes. And it was a nice way to like write jokes and not have to be the one telling them, because that's the scary part, is like, being on stage and like saying a joke and risking not getting a laugh. So it was a nice way to be like, here, I wrote these things for you to say. And then, but then if it works, then you get to like experience like, oh, it was that line that I wrote.
That's my plan all along.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so I sort of just like really slowly eased my way, because I would be in some of the sketches sometimes, but most of it was behind the scenes stuff.
Okay.
Like mostly like stage managing, but I would write and do other stuff too. And then when COVID sort of shut everything down, like we couldn't practice sketches. And then eventually I just got like tired of not being able to do anything. So I was like, okay, well, I guess once we can do stuff again, I'll try stand up and see how that goes. And I liked it enough that I just do that now instead, because it's way easier.
Yeah, sure. So your first time going on stage, where did you do that? Caravan?
Is the Caravan, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was your first true bombing?
Oh boy. Gosh. I know there was one time that it was for sure not the worst I've ever done, but it was very early on. Somebody was very nice and gave me 20 minutes before I was really ready. And I was so excited to have 20 minutes. And I had done 15 minutes before and did fine. And they were like, come back and do 20. And I was like, all right, I've made it. This was like 6 months into me doing comedy. And so like I go to this venue and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to crush it. I crushed it at 15. I'm going to crush it at 20. And, it was the same set plus 5 more minutes. It wasn't like I did a whole different set of jokes. I did the 15 that worked real well last time, plus 5 more. And so like I got up there and they did not like me. Like it was a different group, but the jokes just weren't hitting, it wasn't working. And like, any comic will tell you like 15 minutes worth of jokes goes by way faster if they're not laughing. If you don't have to pause for the laughter, it's like, I have 7 minutes of jokes.
Sure.
So, I was like so excited to do 20, and then I did 15 and they weren't laughing at hardly any of it. And then I just like panicked and left. So I didn't even do the 20 minutes, and I felt so bad. I don't think the booker like holds it against me. He just like doesn't book stuff anymore, really. So
It's like last, like never again. It's like,
but like
well,
at least
then
I
again,
can't
what
say
was it?
like, oh, he he won't talk to me or whatever. It's just like, no, he just didn't really book anything anymore. So yeah, that was probably like my first like actual bomb, and I've had a couple much worse experiences, but that was like the first time where I was like, oh, I fucked up.
Sure, yeah. I think I've only truly, I mean, just ate shit on stage
Mhm.
one time because there's if you don't know, if you've never done comedy, there's varying levels of bombing. There's like you get pity laughs, and that's bombing because you're
Right.
not crushing it, but it's not the same as like just a true bombing. It's just no one laughs.
You're
And
you're sucking energy out of the room.
oh my god! And they just stare at you, and they're like, "I paid money for this. I'm okay." It was okay. So everyone's first time, I think, is always really good because they have like you invite all your friends. You know, you're like, I'm gonna finally do this thing. All your friends come out, and it really doesn't matter, like for most people, how good your first set is because all your friends and family are there.
Right.
So you just go up there and you're like, I pooped one time, and they're like, he's a genius. But like, because you're just being who you are, you don't know how to write a joke. You think that you have like 5 minutes, but you have like 3 minutes, but it doesn't matter.
Right.
My second time ever doing comedy.
Oh no.
Dear God, it was so bad. It was at a place. I don't want to. I'm not trying to blow up the spot. It was just kind of a weird. So basically, what they did is they had a show, like they had a full show,
Okay.
and then after that full show was an open mic.
Okay.
There was no one that stayed, other than I mean, like 5, 6 people maybe, and like 4 of them were comics. And like open mic comics, if you're like not at a club, if you're just somewhere, because that's where we were just somewhere. They don't care. Like the audience is not there to make you laugh. Like they're not there to pay attention to your set. They're just on their phone, and they're like, I'm gonna write jokes about poop or whatever. So I get up on stage, and it is not a stage. Just so you're perfectly clear, it is a back porch.
Okay. Is it outside?
Porch. Yes.
Okay.
You probably know where this was. It was on a back porch, kinda. That's not really. It was like 3 steps. And then I'm standing in front of a broken handrail.
Okay.
And, like, they hand me the mic, which is
was this at a house?
Yes.
Was this at a private? Okay.
Yeah, you know where it is.
Okay.
Which is not my crowd. They're just not like it's fine.
Right.
Even today, I don't think I would still. I don't think today I would do good there, honestly.
Right.
But they hand me a microphone, but the microphone is not plugged into anything. and they go here, and I'm like, oh sweet. Hey y'all, and my first joke used to be, I don't understand kids at all because it's like, what are you? It just seems like they're practicing screaming. Like it just seems like that's what they do. I'm like, what are you gonna grow up and be? My stepdad? And when I said that joke, immediately everyone who thought they were a fan of me was like, someone said that's emotional abuse.
Oh my God.
There's no mic. There's no
There's
mic.
no mic, so they're just you're all the same volume.
We're all talking at the same volume. So they go like, that's emotional abuse. And we are like 7 feet away from each other.
You're just at a party and everyone's talking over you. That's what's happening.
Yeah. And I'm like, no, see, and then I'd like try to fall back into the set that had worked yesterday when I just did my first set, which was not good. None of it was good.
Bless.
It was like, I don't know what it is, especially guy comedians. Your first set is always about one of two things: poop or your penis.
Yeah.
That I don't know what it is about guys, but they have to write about one of those two things. That's it.
I think
you just go up there and you're like, I was taking a weird poop once, and then your friends and family are like,
well, you know, now in comedy, there's so much emphasis on like talking about yourself and like what's personal to you. Like there's not a lot of like character stand up or like stage personas so much as the people seem to want like what's personal stuff about yourself. And so I think guys, I mean anybody just goes in thinking like what's a significant part of my life. And so for dudes it's either their dick or the weird poop they did the other day. They're like, I gotta talk about something that's the main focus in my life. So it's like one of those, or your kids, if you have them, I guess. Or
like for older guys that are just getting into comedy, it's very commonly like, my wife sucks, right, guys? Hey, fellas, do you hate your wife? And then like the old guys that are there,
they're like, yeah, we're here to get away from that bitch.
Have you ever witnessed like someone do so bad on stage that it sticks with you for like a long time?
Yeah.
So there's two things in particular that stick with me to this day. One of them was like we were at Go Bananas. I don't know if you were there for this or not, but like this it was the first day of March.
Okay.
And this black guy goes up on stage and he's like, the first thing he says is like, Black History Month isn't over. And people, there's kind of like scattered applause. There's not a laugh, which, it's going to be kind of rough if people don't laugh immediately, if they just do like a weird, because if you get claps, you're in a weird spot in comedy.
Right.
In my opinion. And then he goes, F y'all white people. And then the energy because the guy before him did super duper good. So it was a good crowd. I went on after him and I did fine. But like the energy just went and dropped.
Oh boy.
What I was talking about earlier are true bombings. Bombings where like no one even pity laughs at your jokes. Right. This was one of those. And you get 5-minute sets at the Pro-Am, or you either get 3 or 5. I think it depends on
it's 5 unless you're like the host or the closer. But they might, I don't know, they might do 3 minutes for new people.
Yeah, I think that they do 3 minutes for brand new. Either way. So you get 5. He has bombed 15 seconds into his set. He's doing a 5-minute set.
Yeah.
No laughs for 4 minutes and 45 seconds is so much rougher than you want to pretend it is. Like, it was, oh my God. Like it gutted me. It didn't happen to me.
Yeah.
I was kind of, I'd quit. I wouldn't.
Right.
So that's one of them. Another one, I was at the Caravan, and there was a guy. I don't care if he knows that I'm saying this about him. The Bostonian. Do you know who that is?
Oh, yeah, I do. I say whatever you want. Say whatever you want, because it can't be any worse than what I've said right after going up after him at a mic. So go for it.
That's okay. So Mikey was headlining, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he goes up on stage and he says something like, "Hey, fuck the Patriots, whatever." He does that super like talking.
Yeah.
He doesn't talk like that. But on
Right.
stage, he goes like, "Yeah, so I was parking my car next to the park, and I said, hey, what's up, Margaret?" Like he acts like he's not. Like, he may be from Boston, but he doesn't talk like he. So he goes up on stage, and he's like, did you guys see that that Patriots game, eh? And then he's like, fuck the Patriots, eh? Like, I'm probably doing his voice worse than he does his voice, but so he does that, and then someone's like, boo, and then he gets mad because someone says like boo. Like, they didn't like jeer him all the way. They just went like, boo, boo, like a little boo. And
Right.
he goes, hey, you think you fucking tough guy? And he like starts like challenging to fight this guy on stage.
Jesus.
And then I think he kind of realizes that he looks ridiculous, so he draws it back. But then, after he draws it back, he goes, and this is unprompted. No one had said anything to him. He was sitting in silence for like 30 seconds. He goes, "I'm not afraid of black people." Like, no one had said anything about black people. He just said that.
Oh my God! Was it a black person that booed him?
I don't even think so.
He just assumed.
Like, looking, like who he's like, me looking at stage and who he's looking at. The guy is clearly not a black guy. He just says this thing, and like that moment has lived with me for like
That's the funniest thing he's ever said.
Yeah, but like not for the reasons like. So my friend, Josh, my son, his godfather is a black guy, and he watched all of this happen. So now, like every now and then, we'll be having a random conversation about another thing. Hey, did you watch Shark Week on the Discovery Channel? And I'll be like, I'm not afraid of black people. And he just hangs up the phone every time.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, I guess you said that you've had those moments where like you've watched something like that transpire.
Yeah. So there's at least one. I feel like there's a second one that I'm forgetting. But oh my God, what was it? How have I? Oh, there. Okay, all right. There are two. So one happened kind of recently. It happened this last Monday, and you talking about the Bostonian reminded me of it. But Monday it was at Planet of the Tapes, which is like, more of a left leaning room, and it's wild to me. Like, I mean, I don't care like where a comedian is at necessarily, but just like the inability to read the room, to recognize like, saying the word retarded probably not going to go down too well in this room or whatever. Like, they just don't, they get there and it's like, I don't care if you have that joke or whatever, but why would you be like, this is a good idea here at this place? So this guy gets up, he's a white guy, and he starts talking about how, don't we all wish we could say the N-word? And that's his first joke that he tells. And you can hear everyone's buttholes tighten, like in the room. They're just like, no. And he's like, come on. He's like, oh, so y'all don't want to be honest. We don't want to all be able to say the N-word. And all the white people are like, not really, bro. And you can tell, like, not only does it like ruin.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, it not only does it like suck all the energy out of the room. First of all, this guy had brought the bulk of the audience. Like, it was mostly comedians there, but then there was like maybe 20 audience members, and half of them seemed to be people he brought to come see him. And they also weren't laughing at this. So it also created this weird thing where anything he said after that was hard to laugh at, because it's like, now we feel weird at like supporting you in any way, which is a thing I think comedians don't always think about, that it's like, you can have edgier material, but you have to like, you have to get us on your side first so that we trust you, rather than just going in guns a-blazing like, hey, don't we all wish we could say the N-word? And it's like, I don't want to laugh at anything you have to say now, because what if my friend sees me laughing at you and they're like, oh, so she thinks that guy's funny, like, I don't think people are thinking that far.
It's really not like a joke. It's like, you
could
maybe write it into a joke, but like just saying that, it's not like there's nothing there. It's just like,
there's no twist to it.
You think we should be able to say like racial slurs more, and then everybody's supposed to be like, hell yeah, dude. I was singing it and this guy just says it. Like, that's forever ago. So I don't know if okay, so two stories. So I've always kind of had like edgier jokes. Forever ago, there was a club, or like a tavern, Millwood Tavern.
Yeah.
So it's a left-leaning crowd, and someone that used to do comedy that doesn't do comedy anymore. I made a joke about myself, about because I'm Mexican, and I was like, this was like, I mean, this had to be right after Donald Trump won the election, and I was like, yeah, I'm glad that he won. I hope he deports my cousin Victor first, because he's never going to pay me that $50 he owes me. And it's not like the best joke in the world, but it's a solid enough joke, like,
and it's an open mic.
Yeah,
it's for testing that kind of stuff.
And it, like, afterwards, the person who put it together was like, you cannot make fun of Mexicans. And I was like, they are me.
Right.
And I think this was like their last week ever hosting the thing. But they had to be like a brand new comic doing what you were saying. Like, there's no writing involved if you're just like,
right. And this guy he's pretty new. I've only seen him a couple times, and like, I don't wish anything against him. I hope he learns. I hope maybe he learns not to go in guns a-blazing on that kind of material.
I think it's going to be one of those things where he may not learn. Like,
he'll either get it or he won't, which is how with most comics, it's like they'll either figure out that it didn't work, or he'll be doing it 6 years from now.
Same. I've opened with a joke every time for 6 years. Liberal Hollywood's holding me down. The other time, which is weird because this is like on a much larger scale. So I was hosting a weekend at a club for one of my favorite headliners, and then the feature was one of my friends. So it was like a great lineup, and then like another friend of mine was supposed to do a guest spot, and it had been a great weekend. And then the headliner had a friend that was in town who was a traveling comedian, who I've never like actually confirmed this, but when I asked, how do you want me to bring you up? They said, oh, you can just say that I've been on Comedy Central. I have no reason to assume they lied, but like, so I was like, okay, so they at least made it to Comedy Central. This is like how bad can this be, giving them a 5-minute guest spot?
because the headliner was like, give him a guest spot. He's my buddy. And I think the headliner was probably thinking the same thing. How bad can a 5-minute guest spot be? And so, again, it was clearly a more like left-leaning audience and like a younger crowd. And so the guy goes up to do his guest spot and just right off the bat, like way too much energy. Like he's just like, yeah, like he's like screaming and stuff. And he's like, I'm so happy to be here and away from my wife and kids. Anybody else? And you can tell that this whole like, millennial, like childless, left-leaning audience is just like we're here to get away from our dads. Like, what is this energy you're bringing? And it just proceeds to be like 5 minutes of him way over the top energy, yelling like boomer energy, kind of take my wife please style jokes. And like while this is going on, so I'm hosting, so I'm trying to like time him, I'm trying to give him the light, and he's not noticing the light, so he does like more like 7 or 8 minutes instead of 5. And like multiple people that are there are texting me like, what the fuck is happening? Who is this guy? This is so bad. So finally we get him off stage, and he was the first guest spot, and he sucked the energy out of the room so hard that there was a second guest spot who couldn't get any laughs. The feature he got like half the laughs he should have. And then it was halfway through the headliner set when he's finally like, why are you all being fucking weird? Like, like it's a comedy show. Like he like finally got them all like on board. So he like the guy dug the hole so deep in the room that it took until like 3 comics later, halfway through their set, to actually get the audience like laughing regularly again. And I felt so bad for everybody on that show. Because like I did fine. It wasn't like they were like too tight of an audience. It was like I got them warmed up, and then I brought out this guest spot, and then the guest spot just dug us all into a hole for the next hour.
Yeah, almost impossible to.
Yeah,
I think like having like hosted and kind of had similar experiences. Mm-hmm. The only thing that you can do, honestly, is just bury that guy. Like that, you just go up there, like. And
I kind of wish I had done more.
It's kind of a shitty move, but you have to save the show. So it's like, what in the fuck was that guy talking about? And then like, bro, yeah, you're right. I don't know what he was saying up there. Yeah,
right. You have to acknowledge that everyone's like, so we all feel the same way about that guy, right?
That's exceptionally rough.
Yeah.
I don't like people do that a lot where they like try to make it just doesn't translate at all. So they're like, part of your job as a comedian, is like taking kind of a not funny thing and making it funny, or making a thing that's only funny to you funny to other people.
Yeah.
And pretty commonly you see like people just don't do that. And like if he's a traveling comedian, he should know like you always have like 5 minutes in your back pocket. So like if this isn't working, just do another thing. Just go do the other thing.
Right. Yeah, because this guy I think he headlines other places. So it's like, I know you have more than just that 5 minutes. Do 5 minutes that they'll like.
Do weird crowd work that no one will like.
Right.
I think that I run into a lot with like comedy. I've not been doing comedy for a while now, so like maybe my experience is a bit skewed, but especially with like the Joe Rogan popularity, I see this thing a lot where people are like, we're the last philosophers, or they do like, we're the last line of free speech. And it's like it's always like people who weren't funny when they could have said whatever they wanted like
right.
talking about how they should be able to say whatever they want, and it's like you can still say whatever you like.
Right.
No one cares. Mostly
Right.
nobody. Like if you're funny, it's going to translate to a funny thing. And if you're not funny, same. Like
Yeah.
just don't just go up there and tell your weird story about you accidentally put soy sauce in your milk instead of, like
Right.
the last philosopher thing bugs me so
Yeah.
much because it's never anyone. You're not George Carlin.
Right.
George Carlin was good at that.
Mhm.
What is that guy's name? Bill Hicks, really
Mhm.
good at that.
Gallagher.
The melon is a
Mhm.
metaphor for a
Absolutely.
watermelon. You're like, this watermelon stands for water. There's like two Gallaghers.
Yeah,
You
his
know that?
brother, and they're
Which
both.
are-
I can't remember if they're both crazy or not. It's something like his. I think it's his brother is the good one now. Gallagher 2, and
yeah,
and original Gallagher is the
it's
one
such
that
a
he went
it's
like
such a
crazy
funny
right
thing
wing.
to like it just be like a watermelon guy and then
Yeah.
just be racist. Like
Right.
the whole time we thought,
I think the watermelon's a metaphor for something else.
yeah. What did you mean? You know what I meant. Yeah. Another another comedian that like historically it's very weird is like Charlie Chaplin,
Oh
who's
yeah.
like the last of the silent movie era comedians. Silent era, either way,
Silent era.
the,
Yeah.
the last of those. And I didn't know that he got like kicked out of the United States.
Oh.
He got, what is that word? Don, what is that word?
What is that word?
Extrapolated.
Extrapolated. He got extrapolated right out of the United States. And then he also married a 14-year-old, and then because basically what he did is he said communism ain't so bad sometimes, and they were like
1952. Charlie Chaplin banned from the U.S.
1952. Okay, when did he marry that girl?
When she was 14.
Yeah. So
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not seeing that.
I'm really good at spreading misinformation, but not this time. I'm serious about Charlie Chaplin. If there's one thing you should walk away from this podcast knowing, it's that I love Charlie Chaplin. Well, it's that I love to hate Charlie Chaplin.
It says she was 16.
16? Okay.
But she began acting with him when she was 12 and was pregnant by him when she was 15.
Yikes.
Okay, so I was wrong in that he did not marry her when she was 14. However,
just knocked her up.
If she
He was just
pregnant,
waiting to do it.
If she was pregnant at 15.
Right. Maybe it was the Lord's baby.
Oh my God. Jesus came down, put a baby in that poor 14-year-old stomach. You're gonna be the next silent movie era comedian. What time are we at? We still have a little bit, so I'm gonna hold off on the roast. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that later. Okay. So do you have any shows coming up soon?
Yes. Okay, so tomorrow and Saturday, I'm featuring at Planet of the Tapes for a comedian named Sam Morrison. It's my first time featuring at Planet of the Tapes, so I'm pretty excited about that. And Sunday, I'm at the club downtown, the Louisville Comedy Club. It's like an all-female showcase. And then let's see, a week from today on the 18th, there's like an improv show at Planet of the Tapes, and I can't remember if that one's free or not. But I don't do improv, but I'm hosting it, so I'm doing some time like bringing up the improv groups that'll be performing. And what do I have after that? Oh yeah, and then on the January 20th, I'm doing like a roast battle show, but it's like a format I've never done before, so I'm excited to see how that'll go. I don't know who I'm roasting yet, so it's just like a bunch of comics, and they're just gonna like put two of us on stage and be like, all right, roast each other. And then they're just gonna go around until they have like one winner who wins a lot of money.
Were you at the roast battle 21st that I did against Johnny?
Yes, I think yeah. In the cage match.
I think were you a judge?
I think I was a judge on that one, yeah. Like last minute they needed a judge. I don't even remember who won. Okay.
I won mine, and then there's two black guys that just went up there, and it was like the crazy.
It was
and
or no, it was Jesse. Was it Jesse Johnson and
Lucius? No,
was it Lucius?
Luther.
Luther. Okay.
Yeah, Luther.
I was gonna say. I feel like Lucius would be like, this is stupid. I'm not doing this. Lucius knows better than to do a cage roast.
That one guy that was roasting Evan got so mad at Evan, which was like, it was so.
He was mad at Evan. Oh wait, no? He won though, right?
Evan lost,
right?
But he got mad because Evan's jokes weren't really jokes.
Oh, okay. I don't even remember what either of them said.
And then like the judge said something, and Evan just stared at her the entire time she was talking, and then he said, I don't listen to females. And then he just went right back into the thing. And it was very clear that the next time she just grudge voted against him. Because he was like, I don't acknowledge the presence of women. Or it was something like that. But like Evan's jokes were just like, what did he say? It was just like, your father died. And then like the guy's dad he wasn't even dead. He was just there.
Right. He was there, yeah.
Like, in the audience. And then he was like, well, he wasn't around anyways. And then
oh my God.
He was there the whole time.
Right.
He drove me,
It's so funny because I think there's like different types of there's different things expected at different roasts. And when it's like cage match, with that timer and stuff, I think it's like and like we're throwing popcorn at who we like or don't like or whatever. I think the expectation is like the lowest, like lowbrow stuff where it's just like, yeah, well, your mom's a slut. Bam, your turn. They just want something where the audience can go, oh, and start throwing popcorn at people.
I still have, yeah. Oh my God, I still have these jokes.
Oh, you still have the jokes you wrote?
Yeah. I said Johnny is a 30-year-old who looks 40 and acts 20. In short sleeves, he looks like a Sailor Jerry bottle got attacked by a bunch of bees. You could best describe Johnny as 2 catalytic converters away from a decent haircut. That's such a good joke. That's on YouTube, by the way, if you all like that are watching this one.
Okay.
It's on Johnny Woods versus Andrew Riggs roast battle. I think Johnny uploaded it. Oh my God! So you have 2 last jokes. It's an instant death. Okay. It's basically like whoever the last 2 jokes hit the hardest, you win. And these are my favorite roasts I think I've ever written. So I'm just going to read them. You all can watch it still. But Johnny's podcast and its views are like the people around him that have died from heroin overdose in the low 20s and don't have any sponsors.
Damn.
So Johnny's last name is Woods. And much like Tiger Woods, Johnny spends more time driving than being a father. That's a okay. That's enough of that. Timeline wise, do you want to go ahead and do you want to get into the roasts?
Yeah, we can do them.
Hold on, let me put this banner up. Where is the? Oh, here it is. This is the. Oh no, I did a lowercase t. Oh my gosh,
no.
I will never recover from something like this. New segment brought to you by how to get your girlfriend to stop stealing your hoodie, a book by Andrew Riggs. It just says "lol psych." That shit is gone, bro. I forgot I wrote this. This is not brought to you by that. But if you want to, go check out Flame and Flagon, FLAMEAND, That is my wife's candle company. She has a lot of stuff on sale. Don has some stuff. Don, do you like your stuff that you have?
I can attest to it. The first time I wore the beard oil, I wore it to a Christmas gathering. 3 separate people asked me why I smell so good.
Nice.
If you know Don, people don't just accuse him of smelling good all the time. All right.
Yeah, it's not common.
But check it out. It is my wife Charlie's candle store. It's based on like video games. Everything is homemade. So she makes everything from body wash, body scrubs, candles, room sprays, body sprays. There's probably other stuff that I'm forgetting. Body lotion. No, not body lotion. Body butter. Body butter. Yeah. And beard oil. So give that a check out. And this next segment is roast that piece of shit. It's shit, but I blurred out the I. Okay, so basically what we're going to be doing here is just roasting pretty historically bad people. Let me pull up the picture so you can see exactly who we're talking about if you don't know what they look like. Oh wait, let me change this.
Oh, there you go.
Care for that. All right.
The handsome young lad.
First up, we have the Milwaukee Monster, more commonly known as Jeffrey Dahmer. Do you want to take the first one, Lena, or do you want me to?
Sure, I can go first. I put Drew Pickles finally snapped after having to deal with his wife and Angelica for so long.
Dahmer. Jeffrey Dahmer, often accused of being handsome, but I think he has the charm of smoking inside a car with the windows rolled up.
Jeffrey Dahmer got so bloated as soon as he went to prison, I can only assume human meat is actually a viable diet plan.
I would say he's basically like the Unabomber with none of the charisma. Ted Kaczynski, if he were into Craigslist dating.
Jeffrey gets a bad rap, but we have to give credit where credit is due. He is one of the biggest fashion influencers on at least 2 open mic comics in every local Midwest comedy scene.
They always have glasses like Jeffrey Dahmer. It's hard to tell if he looks like an 80s dad or a 90s lesbian.
Both. That was all my roast, by the way, for Jeffrey Dahmer.
Oh, I got 2 more. Jeffrey Dahmer looks like if a foot job were a person. He had a 145 IQ and still couldn't figure out his haircut. The next one is okay. I gotta find that. I gotta find that one picture that we. Okay, here we go. Dear Lord. Okay, this is Henry Lee Lucas. Henry Lee Lucas, better known as the Confession Killer. I believe that he was actually convicted of 18 murders. I
have.
I'm sorry. He was confirmed to have killed 3. He claimed over 250.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, I need to zoom out on this picture so you all can understand.
We don't want to be that close to him. Back up.
Yeah. Is that okay? Yeah, you can see. Okay. Henry Lee Lucas, better known as the Hills Have One Eye. He lost his eye. He missing out. Yeah. So.
Henry Lee Lucas, all of his victims were stabbed or strangled, and I assume it's because his aim with a gun probably isn't too good.
Henry Lee Lucas has less teeth than murders.
That's rough. That's a rough spot to be in. Upon his arrest, Henry confessed to over 250 murders, only 8 of which were ever confirmed, leading him to be renamed from the Confession Killer to the Cat Williams of serial murder.
Henry Lee Lucas, surprising absolutely nobody, he met his boyfriend at a soup kitchen.
Who also did murders with him. That's true. That's real love. That's your one sign that there's hope for anybody.
If you're watching this at home and you are wondering what his boyfriend looks like,
nothing good.
Imagine the opposite end of the ugly spectrum. Like they're both horrible looking for different reasons.
They balance each other.
This guy's like a 5 compared to his boyfriend.
Here, I'll show you what Otis Toole is the guy's name. He looks like this.
Woof woof.
He walks away. He asked me.
You're missing out.
Yeah. God made those guys for each other.
Yes. I have one more for Henry Lee Lucas. Henry did occasionally engage in necrophilia, which is gross, but it's also the only time his partner was someone in his league.
That's all I got for Henry Lee Lucas. Let's see. The next one was Ed Gein. Ed Gein, if you are not aware, is who the Texas Chainsaw Massacres were based off of.
And a fellow Wisconsinite.
Yeah, there you go. So, finally, Wisconsin's known for something.
along with Dahmer. Hell yeah.
Wait. Oh yeah, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Okay. That makes
Yeah, he's like I know a dude who lived like a block away from him when that all happened.
Wait, from Dahmer?
Yeah, down in Milwaukee. Milwaukee's like a 40-minute drive from here or something.
Lena, what's that comedy club in Appleton?
Oh, Skyline?
Yeah, Skyline Comedy Cafe.
I hosted there like a
Uh-huh.
while ago. And
Appleton's like an hour north of me. Milwaukee's like 40 minutes south of me.
just so you know, Leah, if you are
Uh-huh.
ever in the state of Wisconsin,
Mm-hmm.
don't make any jokes about Jeffrey Dahmer because there very, very well could be someone who
Yep.
was related to one of the victims.
Yeah, that makes sense. Did you get you get in trouble?
I got to
Did you
talk
get
to him.
Oh no. Oh no.
At first, I was like, no. But then I was like, oh. Any other Applebee's in the world,
Mm-hmm.
that joke would have crushed. Not that one. Okay, so Ed Gein, he is who the Texas Chainsaw Massacres were based off of. Murderer, suspected serial killer, and something called a body snatcher. A body snatcher, if you do not know, is someone who exhumes or unearths corpses. He was making like lampshades and I don't know, fucking brake pads. So he was doing a lot of stuff with these body parts. So just so you know, the first joke that I'm about to tell you, it's not going to be for everybody. But
no joke is for everybody.
Yeah. I think he looks like Rob. If he looks like if Rob Halford from Judas Priest wrote a song called "I Sell My Plasma for Painkillers." Whoever gets that joke is going to be thrilled, and then other people are going to have to do like they're going to have to Google things.
Oh, he looks like somebody AI generated a real life Homer Simpson, and this one has an affinity towards much grosser looking donuts.
I said that he looks like Walter White, except for he made meth without going to college first.
Some people can pull off a hat, but only Ed Gein can pull off that hat while pulling off your skin.
Oh, very good. There's another Walter White joke. He looks like Walter White who teaches GED classes.
Let's see. That was all I had for Ed Gein.
I got two more. Should I do the rougher one first or second? What do you think?
Do the rougher one first.
Okay. Ed Gein looks like Ari Shaffir if his father had died in the Holocaust.
It's rough. All right, now do the one to win us back.
All right. Ed Gein was known as a handyman, but looking at his photos, he looks more like an armpit guy.
It's a solid joke.
All right. You all may not be stoked about this last person, but due to recent news, sorry, this is about making fun of pieces of shit. So, I'm sorry, pieces of shit. They don't really know what's about to happen. Okay. God, this is a rough picture.
Well, we were going to hell anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah, there we go. All right. This is This is Stephen Hawking, who somehow was on the Epstein flight logs. I mean,
Do you think his wheelchair can fly? You think he flew there himself?
I mean, he for sure wasn't flying the plane.
Jesus.
I think Stephen. All right, there's no easing into this. Stephen Hawking looks like a deep sea fish.
You have to be down bad to try and drive a motorized wheelchair through some island terrain for some pussy, I think.
Yeah. Stephen Hawking is a pug of a human.
This was the worst way to find out that airlines could, in fact, be far more accommodating towards the handicapped.
Stephen Hawking is the first predator that couldn't drive his own windowless van.
I think he. Oh, okay. I have two more. One is I think he just wanted a partner that's the same height as him. And then my last one is I don't think it was sexual. I think he just needed somebody young enough to help him troubleshoot his wheelchair, like that uncle that always needs you to reboot his iPhone.
That's it. That's good. Yeah, we do. I had a lot of fun writing these. We got Lena's going to come back on for another episode. We got actually two more fun things that we're going to do, or some more fun segments that we're going to work out. So this weekend you are at Planet of the Tapes. You're featuring, and then next weekend you are where?
So Saturday it will be at it's the same place we did a show there, the WMME Hall, which is on Fern Valley Road.
WWME.
WWME, thank you. Yeah, and it's just a giant roast battle with like 20 different comics. So yeah, that one, and there's like a wide variety of comics too, and we don't know who we're roasting until we get there. So it'll probably like a fun
draw names out of a hat.
Yeah. So hopefully, I don't know. I'm always torn between like dressing differently for those roast battles, just because visually I think I'm easy to roast. So I was like, I'm gonna wear all black, and they'll have nothing if they don't know me as a person. They'll have nothing to roast me for.
What do you got now? Not a thing. Actually, I wanted to talk a little bit about like I've seen some creative ensembles throughout my tenure, I guess, as a comedian. However, I have to give props where they're absolutely due. There's 1,000 windows open. I'm sorry. No, but Lena's like costumes are always like. Do you mind if I like show them on screen?
Yeah, go for it.
Well, too bad. I'm gonna. So
this is my Stephen Hawking costume. I try to be as that. No.
Did you make this wheelchair?
I built it out of foam board from the Dollar Tree.
I'm trying to look at you with all these comedy flyers. Doing all this comedy. Okay, so I'm trying to find like what is this? This is you as Barbie?
Oh yeah.
I believe.
Yeah. I did
this is you as Barbie.
Yeah.
And then there was like another one with you in the box as Barbie.
These are all towards the there we go.
Did you make the box?
I did, yeah. It was I can't remember what the box. It's like a wardrobe box for moving, and so I just like painted it and then like had it rigged up to where I could like Velcro the lid shut and then like get myself in there and walk around in it. It wasn't terribly comfortable, but It's pretty
The
cool.
walking around in a box wasn't comfortable. That's who could have seen it. Yeah. This is cool. What is this, like a Dia de los Muertos thing?
Sort of. So this was back from when I did sketch.
We would appreciate the backstory. So.
Somebody had written a sketch. It was a series of like commercials where there was like a discount. It was for our Halloween show. So half of the ads were for this like discount crazy salesman, like all things must go bone salesman. So he's like, we got all these bones for cheap, we buy all the bones you need, we got, you know, rat bones, monkey bones. And so then the character I played was his arch nemesis, which was, I was like the high end fancy bone seller. And I didn't like that the other guy was like ruining the good name of selling bones. So that was my like rich, fancy bone seller lady costume.
What is?
Oh yeah, this is depression. This one I do her a lot. So this started out as a sketch. it was called.
I'm sorry.
It was fun. So it started out. I wrote a sketch called "Depression is a Bitch," and so I just show up and I'm like, "Hey, I'm your depression," and the girl's like, "Oh, that's cool. I mean, nothing. Like, I don't have a reason to be depressed." And I was like, "Yeah, you don't get like to decide that." So, and then I just start like knocking shit over, and I'm like, "We're not cleaning this for a week." So now I do that character kind of regularly. Anytime I need like a weird character thing.
Okay, I was
just because it's
like,
so
why
easy.
am I seeing? I was like, why am I seeing? I was looking at. That's my bad. I was looking at
instead of uploads. Yeah.
This thing, you always do like my favorite joke when you're dressed like this. It's almost this exact. You probably know exactly what joke I'm talking about.
Is it I look like
I don't drive a school bus.
Oh yeah. That's always that's my opener. I've never driven a school bus, magic or otherwise. And it's so stupid. I've opened like almost every single set I've ever done. I've opened with that joke. And if they don't laugh at it, I'm screwed for the whole set. And I don't know why. Because it's not like that joke. I mean, it's a good joke. It's a good way to like test the room. But anytime I've not gotten a laugh off that joke, I'm just like, oh, this whole set's going to go bad. And it always does. And I mean, it might be like a self-fulfilling prophecy, but it's still just like, why is it like if they don't laugh at that, they don't laugh at anything I say?
I think it's kind of like that with like openers universally though. Like,
yeah, you have to grab them. You have to get them on your side.
My opening joke for a very, very long time was, hey, what's any fans of alcohol in the audience? And then, of course, no matter where you're doing a show, they're gonna go, eh! and then I always go like, you all ever been driving so drunk? And I just wait. And normally that's when I know that they're gonna like my sense of humor or not. And then I go like, that roadblock start to make sense. Yeah, that's
a good one.
Is it like 80s motif type thing?
Oh yeah. So I did a couple years now. I've done like where I try to recreate the vibe of like vintage Christmas photos because
this is a good one.
Thank you. Yeah, there's like a an album that went kind of viral, and it was like actual old pictures of like just women, you know, where like I guess the husband gets the camera and he wants to take a picture, so he's just like, go stand by the tree. And so I try to do like all the different vibes. Like there's usually one
looks old. This
right.
one looks legitimately like old.
Yeah.
Like 60s, 70s, like
yeah. It's my grandma's living room right now.
Oh my god, this is pretty like a early, well, no,
I was going for
70s, early 80s, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much anywhere between like the 50s through the 80s. I'll try to sort of recreate. And they're not perfect, obviously, but I have a lot of like vintage stuff. So I just try to make them look not
You
modern.
posted this picture one time, and it was
Uh-huh.
like of your jewelry. You had like this rack.
Is it like
It
all the
was like,
necklaces hanging up?
yes.
Okay. Oh, I
Is
don't know.
that yours?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if I don't remember how long ago I posted it, but I have
I mean, that
like
had to be like a year and a
okay.
half. Like it was a while ago.
Yeah.
Um, like seeing all that, I was like, I don't own that much of anything.
Yeah. I've been collecting it for a while. I do a lot of thrifting, and then if there's something specific I want, like I'll collect like the vintage brooches. So sometimes I'll just go on eBay and look up vintage brooches, and so I have like this huge toolbox full of stuff. Yeah, that was my Halloween costume this year. I did that one real last minute. Oh, and I was Miss Piggy for Halloween. That was a fun one.
Oh wait, hold on. I don't know if I know my wife probably posted. So I was for Halloween. I was a vampire hunter, and they were
Uh-huh.
both vampires.
Uh-huh.
So like we have this picture, and I don't know if she ever posted it because it's kind of like an insane. It's kind of an insane thing to post because it's like I
I'm
have
gonna
a
hunt these
crossbow.
babies.
Yeah, I have a crossbow, and then he's acting like he's crying, and she's acting like she's holding him from crying.
Oh my
And like,
goodness.
it's a very funny picture. Like if you
Yeah.
know us, but if you don't know us and you just saw that, you would be like,
Yeah.
"No,
Yeah, if you posted that and it got popular enough, all the comments would be like, "Leave him. He's toxic.
I don't like him." Yeah.
That's a red flag."
So this is
Miss
Miss
Piggy.
Piggy. Okay. Are you dressed like a Barbie?
So
Oh, that's
that's Molly, the American Girl doll. Um,
Oh yeah, it is.
so yeah, that was for the roast of Barbie. I got to be Molly, which was a
the
doll I
roast.
had growing up. So
Oh,
I had,
I guess that's what this is.
yeah.
The roast of Barbie. Yeah, there you go.
Are you into American Girl dolls?
Just the one that I had growing up was Molly. I don't really like keep up with them.
I was just wondering because I got a sibling. My younger sister is like
Uh-huh.
loves them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, apparently, because
Um,
I had Molly, but she's apparently like the one nobody wanted because she's from World War II era. So all her toys are like, this is her steel penny because you couldn't have, or whatever. I don't remember what they made pennies out of it because we couldn't have copper. And then here's her one like outfit because we're trying to ration things. Like her whole shtick is like, we're trying.
so speaking of the like, just kind of a personal
Hmm.
like. Okay, so I used to work for a plumbing company, and my job was to like assess for water damage, and so I had to go in like basements a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And one time I went into this person's house who had like a sub basement. So like he had a regular basement, which would have been like it's like in the ground. But then he has another basement, like off of this basement.
Hmm.
Okay, so I don't spook easily. Like there's gotta be something startle me. You know what I mean?
Right.
And this guy was, I guess, like a collector
Oh.
of like
Pocket
clown
pussies. Oh, no.
clown porcelain dolls
Okay. Huh.
and regular porcelain dolls.
Okay.
So the first basement is full of like porcelain dolls,
Mm-hmm.
and they're all in cases, and they're
Uh-huh.
of course all looking at you. And mind you, this is the house is like 4,000 square feet. It's a giant house. So the first basement is like, imagine like the caravan.
Mm-hmm.
Now imagine there's just two walkways, like a giant U, and you
Uh-huh.
just have to walk through all these porcelain dolls.
Sounds like a horror movie trap.
So I go into the sub basement, which
Uh-huh.
is full of circus shit.
Oh no.
It's
And there's
full of
only
like,
one entrance and one exit, right?
it has fucking like marionettes that are
Oh,
like
that would.
hanging from the ceiling, and they're just like looking down
Oh
at
my
you. And
God.
like walking into this room, the guy was being super weird. He was being very weird, and maybe he's, on the spectrum, I guess is the
What
nicest
do
way.
you mean, maybe?
Well, yeah, I guess that was kind of like Funko Pops before there were Funko Pops. Like he's collecting those for a reason.
This guy's just luring you into his clown dungeon.
So I go into this sub basement. I think I took pictures of this to send my wife. I'd have to like really look for them because it's been a while.
Mhm.
But going into the sub basement, right, it gets worse. So like at the beginning, there's these marionettes that are hanging from the strings, and the porcelain. But then you go further back, and it's like dolls of clowns and like replica circuses, and they're like smaller and they're older as you go back, but the guy
Uh-huh.
like doesn't really take care of his stuff. So it's just like
Mm.
it's getting more cobwebby and everything's old, and this guy's like look like
Ugh.
he's not walking standing up anymore. I think
Uh-huh.
because you have to crouch a little when you first get in the room, but then you can stand back up. Like you're fine after that.
Yeah.
But he wasn't. He was just going like and walking behind me, and I
Oh,
was like,
goodness.
I got like my fight or flight kicked in. I was like, "Hey, brother, give me some space." I'm like, yeah, no. I've never felt that uncomfortable. Like, oh no, there was a guy who we went into his house, and he like collected porno mags,
Uh-huh.
and I'm 6'2". Those were my height, like the
Oh,
stacks
wow.
of magazines that he had, and
Uh-huh.
there had to be 5,000 of
Mm-hmm.
these things.
Wow.
Just, and there was like this guy was clearly just jerking it everywhere. There was like there was napkins
Oh,
everywhere, and I'm like,
geez.
just like, do you like? Why are you keeping them, man? Just like,
Right? Throw them
you know
away.
what you're doing to these
Yeah.
magazines. 4 magazines are dead or pregnant, and it's just throw them out. Like,
Oh,
and he had
Lord.
like, it was super weird. So he worked for like Lockheed Martin or something, and like he didn't trust banks, so he kept all of his money in like garbage bags, like black
Uh-huh.
garbage bags. So
Wow.
he paid. I mean, maybe he was like some kind of a career criminal or something. I don't think you're right in the head if you're just collecting that
Right.
many porno mags. Maybe that's just me. Whatever. But yeah. So it was like $8,000 as a quote that I gave him, and he paid me out of his garbage bag money. And I was like, I hope to never see you again.
You were like, I don't want to touch this money that you've touched.
I had gloves on, so it was fine. If I didn't, though, I'd be like, yeah, man, let me go grab a bag for you. I'll just put it in there. It's so crazy to be in like downtown Cincinnati with like a bag full
Just
of
a garbage bag full of
yeah.
seedy cash.
Yeah. So guess Lena, do you want to go ahead and shout out your Instagram? I'll let you bounce out of here.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, if you can follow me it's at Lena Lena Beamish Beamish. One word.
Well, let me
And that's
type this.
I post a lot of my
There you go.
outfits and costumes on there.
Lena Beamish. You can find it. It's I put it on both the regular video and the YouTube video. So if you want to go give her stuff a look and give her a follow, if you are in Louisville, I cannot recommend enough for you to go check out her while she's doing her thing. You have plenty of opportunities, and you'll see her posted on Facebook or Instagram. So definitely give her a follow. Check her out. She'll be near you soon, I assume. If you want to stay in the lobby for a second,
Sure.
Lena, and thank you everybody for tuning in. Don, do you have anything that you want to? You got any corn coming out soon, or?
Well, the corn will be a while. We got to work on that.
No corn.
There will be an abundance of corn one day.
Don's been into pressing fern leaves into books, so if you want to, just mail him a bunch of fern leaves and books. And if he mails you back and says, well, "What the hell is this?" Just accuse him of lying. Okay, thank you guys. Have a good night.
The PO box is in the description.
Yeah.